Welcome to the jungle, baby. You're gonna die.
Wow.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another jam-packed action edition of David Lee Madison's The End of the Night. Right here is my dear friend and co-host, producer extraordinaire, just overall great guy, Mr. Joe Ridgely. Joe, how are you, my friend?
I am excellent. Thank you for asking. Very excited about tonight's show.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I can't wait to get the ball rolling. How was your Father's Day, Joe? Did you do anything exciting?
Not too exciting. It was kind of like a little staycation with the family. Just relaxing, but it was excellent, though. Thank you for asking. I saw you had a wonderful adventure this weekend.
Yes, we went up to I'm thinking about buying a racehorse. So my wife and I and my daughter went up to Saratoga, and we went to the Saratoga racetrack, and we took in some harness racing. It was fantastic, and then we went up. One of our favorite places in the world is Lake George, New York. Believe it or not, it's absolute. Have you ever been up there that way,
I
Joe?
have.
Oh, isn't
Yes.
it? You know, then you know how beautiful it is. Yeah.
It's been many, many moons, but yes, I do recall it as a child.
Yes. Oh, so we went up and we just had a wonderful time. We ate at George's restaurant, which is like one of the best prime rib places. Isn't it funny that a restaurant in Lake George is named George's? It's very ironic. And we had just a wonderful time. I ate entirely too much stuff. I sat out on the lake. It was very strange up here in the Northeast. It was only 57 degrees up there today in Lake George, and there was like a stiff 30-mile-an-hour wind. That's why my hair, which is usually beautiful and luxurious, looks like this tonight. So I apologize to everybody ahead of time. But yes, we had a wonderful. I had a wonderful Father's Day with my beautiful wife and daughter. It was just overly fantastic, and we had a great time. I know that you and you have a bunch of things you want to talk about as far as the Indie Escape Network, which I'm super proud of everything everybody's doing. And I also know that you want to say a few words about your beautiful wife and daughter's lovely business that they have.
I would love to. Thank you. That would be Hearts of the Mystic Folk. Check out their line of awesome, all natural scented wax melts, wickless candles, and room sprays available in a variety of fun and seasonal scents. Hearts of the Mystic Folk on Facebook, Instagram, and oh, I'm horrible with those things. I think that's about it.
Yeah, as Joe will tell you, I'm a customer. Their
That's
scents are absolutely fantastic. What's great about their scents, and probably not great for their business model, is that they usually when you buy even Sensies, you burn them you melt them 2 or 3 times, and then the smell goes away, and you're like, wow, I spent $8 on something that lasts 2 or 3 times. I still think I have the third square that I bought from Hearts of the Mystic Folk, and literally, Joe, it can burn for. It smells just as good the first time as it does the 100th time, which means they make a product like Walmart wouldn't carry them because their product is way too good, and you got to tell them to make one that just lasts for like 2 or 3 burns like everybody else, so that they can sell more product.
I thank you very much for the
No,
kind words.
no, it's really just a fantastic product. Happy Father's Day from Keith. Thank you, Keith. I hope you. I wish you a happy Father's Day if you're a dad. Scott's beautiful, lovely partner, Carrie. Thank you very much for the happy Father's Day. Hi, Ken. It's good to see you. If you're a dad, I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day weekend. Did you get any cool Father's Day gifts, Joe?
My wife and daughter like to feed me, if you couldn't tell.
Oh, okay. That's always the best gift, I'm telling you. Well,
So,
I got a really cool little thing. I want to show it after you tell everybody about what's coming up on the Indie Escape.
well, thank you very much. So on Monday, we have CJ Show, My Manic Mondays, and he is going to have the actor Jim Crut on. That's going to be a good time. And then on Wednesday, we have JW Show, Generation Movies. They're going to be discussing Blade Runner. And we also have Brandon's show, IOU. He is going to have Olivier Gruner on, who, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, then you know who this guy is. He was one of the action stars on like Friday Night Cinemax or HBO. Cool martial arts guy. Can't wait for that one.
Yes, he's kind of like a cool Yue Bull, if you know who that is. You have no idea what I'm talking about. It's okay. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about half the time. All right, so it's Father's Day, and when we went up to Lake George, we found an antique shop, and my wife and daughter found this for me. I'm going to put a light out for a second just to make it a little darker.
All right,
I don't know if
I'm
that
going
makes
to blow you up.
I don't know if it makes it much darker. I'm going to move my microphone over a little bit, so if my sound gets swanky, I apologize to everybody ahead of time. But check out this bad boy. You're going to really love this.
Oh, that's a Crypt Keeper.
How cool is that, brother?
That is awesome.
He's holding a candle. He's got his creepy little Crypt Keeper hand coming out over here. His eyes light up. I mean, I never saw one of these before, man. I was like, whoa.
I haven't either. Does it have a date on it?
Yeah, it's from 1994. And that's the only thing that's on the bottom is the year it was manufactured. And as you recall, I think when we did the very, very first online convention,
We had the Crypt Keeper on. John Cassier. Yes.
John Cassier, the Crypt Keeper himself, was with us for the very first online convention. But now I have my little Crypt Keeper. I have to call John up and tell him to send me a little a Build-A-Bear voice box I could stick in this so he could say Crypt Keeper things to me. But I thought that was pretty epic.
Can I resemble that statement? I mean, resent.
Oh, was that necessary, Ken?
I don't think it was necessary.
I think that was
That's why we
for.
blame Canada, though. It is. No, I'm kidding, Ken.
Ken, it is Father's Day. You can be a little kinder to Joe on Father's Day, at least, I would think.
Yeah, now I got to go. I'll see you guys.
Well, without further ado, there's another. The three amigos can't be the three amigos if the third amigo doesn't join us. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, which is exactly what my shirt says, the man, the myth, the legend. Grunkle Scott Schiaffo, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
Hello, Grunkle Scott. How are you?
Doing good. How are you fellas?
I'm doing wonderful.
Awesome.
So what did you, I know you had a crazy busy weekend. Is there anything you want to share with the folks out there?
Well, I want to wish all the fathers happy Father's Day. Both of you guys are fathers, and that's wonderful. I got to see my dad thanks to my wonderful Jewel. We got her mom out for the day, and we went up to Wyckoff and got to see him. She made homemade tiramisu, and my father flipped out, and it was nice. So a long day, but a good day. Hey, man, what's up, Ken? Keith, hey.
Now, tiramisu is the one that kind of tastes like coffee, right? It's like a coffee base.
Coffee,
yeah.
Coffee is used, and it's a cold dessert. It's not baked, which is pretty cool. So
as I recall, it's almost like a whipped cream with like a spongy cake underneath. Oh, it's fantastic. I'm jealous.
Oh,
yeah.
Jealous.
Yeah, she's been making all kinds of variations lately too. She's amazing with the culinary.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to share with our audience before we start tonight, Mr. Shaw?
No, I'm good. And I, again, thank everybody for all the support always on social media. And again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Are you getting excited that Clerks 3 is right around the corner?
Well, unless you know something I don't know. The release date seems to be kind of elusive, but I think it's the fall now.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's mid-September. I don't think that's changed.
Oh, okay. Because well, you know that most of us are on a need-to-know basis.
I don't need to know anything. What the hell do I know? I just don't listen to me. Well, I have no idea what I'm saying.
I know that Brian O'Halloran always says when it's out, then then I'll say it's out. Because you just never know with the film business. It's a crazy business. I know that Lionsgate is doing their best to make a big splash with it, so to speak. So,
Oh, fantastic. I know everybody out there can't wait to see you reprise your role because you were awesome in the first movie.
oh well, thank you so much.
And you're just a really talented actor and a funny guy. With that being said, our guest tonight has appeared in countless films, is just a wonderfully charming actress. I'm actually a big fan of her work. I asked her to come on our show, and she readily agreed. And I can't wait to introduce you guys to her in the End of the Night family and the Indie Escape Network. Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful, the talented Miss Laura Meadows.
Hello.
Hi, Laura.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. Happy Father's Day to you guys.
Thank you very much. And happy, as you said earlier, that you wear both hats. So happy Father's Day to you, because
Yeah.
sometimes the best dads are moms. Trust me.
Yes,
Yeah.
I get
That was
referred
that was my story.
It's my story too. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. So Laura, tell us a little bit about your background. What got you to be passionate about films and acting, and I know you wear so many hats in the industry. So what made you passionate about film in general when you were just a kid?
I watched a lot of horror movies when I was a kid. I'd stay home from school. I'd ask my mom, "Can I stay home and watch movies?" And she said, "Yeah, sure. You don't learn anything in school, so why not?"
That's so scary. It's exactly what my mother said.
My mom has a PhD in education.
Oh, okay. My mom was just a nitwit, so yeah, there's a big difference.
Hey, Keith. And I have a degree in fine art, so I got tired of being chained to the drawing table. And when I was on maternity leave, I saw an ad for an Oliver Stone movie, and I'm like, all right, sure, I'll take the baby in the heat in Texas and go see what that's about. And they took my Polaroid and they called me later, and not much later, and they said, "We'd like you on the set at 6 a.m." And Oliver said, "You're cute." And, and I'm like, "What?" And that was my first experience. And being there, I fell in love with it immediately. And I've noticed that it just happens instantly. I've seen people be on the set for the first time. I heard one woman whisper to her husband, it was Justified, and they were cloggers. And she goes, "I hate this. I never want to do this again." And I was like, wow, I love this. I want to do more. It's just, don't you think, Scott, is kind of immediate?
Well, yeah, for those of us who really gravitate to it, absolutely. That environment, film is a real collaborative medium. So, and there are people who there's like there's a lot of hurry up and wait on film sets, and there's a lot of people who just can't handle that. Like whether you're in your trailer waiting to deliver 2 lines all day long. That's just how it is, because behind the scenes, it's a much slower process, and people don't realize. They think it's all glamour.
Yeah, people have some misconceptions about what it's like. Let's see, I just finished a movie. I'm still working on another one, and I waited 6 hours for my scene, which was the intro to the movie. And I started doing my lines. I was all dressed and everything, and the other actor looked at me in horror. And he said, it was a horror film too, and looked at me and said, "You didn't get the new copy of the script." What? Oh,
That actually happened with me, Scott, on a movie that Scott and I worked together.
I looked at him and he looked at me and I looked at the director. We all looked at each other and then the other actor said, "Hey, you're a pro. You can do it." So we got through it. We did it. We did it line by line. And then I hadn't read it at all. And so at the end of the action, he attacks me, and I'm like, ah, and I'm screaming. And the director was like, "That's wonderful. That's really, really good." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, because it's real." I didn't know that was going to happen. But I guess sometimes that's the best take when you don't
Movie
know.
magic.
Yeah.
So some of them do that deliberately.
You know what's funny? Most people don't realize that when you make a film, you have usually a 10 to 12 hour day. And if you're lucky, you have 3 minutes of usable footage at that 10 to 12 hours. And that's really because of setups and because of rehearsals and because of lighting and because of locations and all that. It's really, really, it's a painstaking business to actually get everything together to make a film work. So you worked with Oliver Stone. That film was Any Given Sunday. Can you tell us anything about what it was like working with Oliver Stone and working with that amazing cast of Any Given Sunday?
Well, it was my first experience, and I was just looking around, and there's Dennis Quaid, and there's Anne Margaret, and there's Cameron Diaz, and I'm like, there's Al Pacino, there's Charlton Heston. It's like, okay, I could totally be down with this. And Oliver, he's really fun. He's really fun. He likes to walk around, visit with everybody, and you never know what he's going to do next sometimes. And I hope he's not listening. He might kill me. But he was great. And that's when I fell in love with filmmaking.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, from what I understand, you also got to work with Rob Zombie and Darren Lynn Boseman. Can you share any stories you had, especially with Rob Zombie first?
Rob Zombie. Well, I did his haunted house for House of a Thousand Corpses, and they had me play Mama Firefly, which was really an honor because one of my favorite all-time horror actresses was Karen Black.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, right. And she's iconic. And she was in the first one, the House of a Thousand Corpses. And so I was honored to play that role live for people and frighten them. And that was great. And every night I would get there and there'd be Rob Zombie music. And it's like, wow, this is great. I want to hear Rob Zombie blasting at work every day. And I got to. So, and his manager came in and I scared her. And I'm like, what? You're Rob Zombie's manager and you scare that easy? Wow. Okay.
What I heard you say that you're a big fan of Karen Black. What Karen Black film comes to mind that you really like?
Well, of course, there's the Tiki Doll.
Trilogy of Terror, one of my favorite made-for-horror TV movies of all time. Great film.
Yeah, that was great. And just, I liked her in A House of a Thousand Corpses. I thought that was great, the span of her career. Mm-hmm. And just everything horror that she's done. I know that there was other work that she did too, but her horror stuff, her expressions were wonderful.
She did this wonderful movie, and I'm hoping somebody who's watching could remember. It starred Oliver Reed and Betty Davis, and they were in a haunted house together. Scott, does this ring a bell at all?
Not offhand, no. I mean, she's another one who's, such a vast resume that it'd be impossible to keep up with horror films.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying. It was one of her best horror films, and I'm just having a total brain. This getting old stuff really sucks. Brandon E. Brooks asks, "Hey, Laura, you are lovely as ever. I'm an admirer of the Devil's Carnival. How was it working with a fantastic director, in my opinion, in Darren Lynn Boseman.
Darren Lynn Boseman, you wouldn't even know he was there. He was very mild-mannered and quiet and sat in the back and just watched everything unfolding. There was different musical acts, and I was a hell harmonics musician. And of course, hurry up and wait. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, the choreographer came in and he said, "Okay, let's learn this dance step." And yeah, people don't understand. This is the stuff that it goes on, right?
Yes.
Be ready anytime, day or night, to learn your lines or learn a dance step or start singing or anything. But I thought Darren was just very, just like anybody else.
Well, ironically enough, Brandon has a show on the network, and we just had Rob Zombie's brother on a couple of weeks ago, Spider One.
Oh, yes, Power Man 5000.
Yes.
This is what it's like when the worlds collide. Yes,
I
Ken.
love that. Oh,
Ken, it's Burnt Offerings. That's 100% correct. Thank you, Ken,
Burnt
for
Offerings.
what a great,
you.
great film. Thank you for reminding me, because it was just a fantastic film. Laura, now I know you've done tons and tons of independent films. If there's an independent film, a young independent filmmaker watching us right now, and they came to you and said, "Laura, you have an enormous resume. You've done some really, really cool and amazing stuff. What can you tell me as an independent filmmaker, up and coming, to kind of help me along the way?"
Just keep going. Just keep the faith. Just find a way to make your movies.
Just keep plugging away?
Yeah, find a way to make your movies, believe in your story. If you get discouraged with your writing, just keep writing.
That's very funny, because your answer is very similar. I was many, many years ago, maybe 20, 25 years ago, I was hanging out with Bruce Campbell. And Bruce Campbell, I said to Bruce, "What can you tell me as an aspiring independent filmmaker?" And all he said is, he looked me dead in the eye and he said, "Work your doughy little ass off." And I will never, ever forget him saying that to me, because A, at the time my ass wasn't doughy, so he made me feel bad. And B, it was just such a Bruce Campbell thing to say. So, I mean, it's really just a matter of hustle, and it's really a matter of passion. And if you really are passionate about something, you will work hard enough to make it happen, which is probably the best advice you can give any independent filmmaker. So tell us.
I agree.
Tell us what film in your catalog that you are most proud of as far as your performance. Is that a tough question, or are they all kind of your babies?
Well, they're all kind of my babies, and then I think about the ones that haven't happened yet. The babies that I don't know of yet. So the possibilities, being excited for the different possibilities that will happen. I have some that'll be released this year that I've been waiting, and you never know when they're coming out, Scott, right?
Well, speaking of that, you're right, on IMDb, your list of in post production is massive. So, like, you must have worked. You got to work all through COVID, I would imagine.
I did. I did. In fact, I got more work.
That's amazing, because a lot of us didn't, and because of COVID. But I saw, my gosh, this woman has like literally, it seemed like almost 24 things in post.
I'm fearless. I'm like, COVID, get lost. I'm working.
So tell us about something that you have coming out this fall that you're excited about.
Well, I have 2 Lionsgate releases. One is Devilreaux, and that's starring Tony Todd. So, and that's a horror, and so I'm really excited. That might be September, but then again, who knows? And then another Lionsgate is Salem Chronicles, and those are both directed by Thomas Churchill. And
That's so wild. I didn't know you knew Tom. Tom and I.
oh, really? Yeah.
Tom and I go back to 4th grade together. We went to junior high school and grammar school together. And you have my deepest condolences for having to work. I'm just kidding. I love Tom. Tom, if you're Tom, who probably is watching, Tom, you know I love you. I'm just.
He's been on the network many
Tom,
times.
call me. Come on. I'm ready for another role, please. So, and then I just finished another one called, one of those I star as a villain, and that's in Salem Chronicles. And then I'm a lead also in Blood Before Bitcoin. And that was different for me. It wasn't horror, it was playing against type. And I'm excited to see how that one's going to turn out. And I played a very mean and smart gang leader.
Oh, sweet.
Who was retired until things happened and the gang showed up again.
I hate when the gang shows up again.
Don't you? You're like, I got rid of you guys. What are you doing here?
Now it is Father's Day, and I seen on your IMDb profile that your dad was in Mensa. Is that really true?
Oh yeah, my dad was in Mensa. He didn't like Mensa that much, though. He thought they were boring. But he was also a member of American Men and Women of Science. And he was a math professor. He was a musician. He had a degree in music, math, psychology. He was, definitely belonged in Mensa. He was
sweet.
Very, very smart. Also with the temperament that matches that.
Oh, well, that's always wonderful.
Not so much sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Complicated.
Growing up, were you constantly being corrected?
Oh, yeah. But mother with a PhD and a father in Mensa, I didn't have a chance.
Yeah. Grammar Nazis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. English homework, math homework. You better be doing that. So pretty much, my childhood, I had to stay in my room and do my homework and watch those horror movies. And I drew pictures as well. So they were very fastidious about academic achievement.
So I see you also worked on a music video that got like 53 million views online. Was it Uno? Tell us a little bit how that came together.
Oh, that you never know. Sometimes I see Scott shaking his head. Yeah,
you never know which one's gonna take off.
No, you don't. And so, just like everything, I was hired to. I was one of the main characters, Miss Mays, and the neighbor lady across the street that didn't like the noise, didn't like the kids, that sort of thing. They put my hair in curlers, and I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a music video. I've done music videos before, and it was playing everywhere after I did it, and I saw it has 54 million views. And I was like, what? Wow. That was really, it blew up. It blew up in Los Angeles.
Do you know the name of the song?
Who's the artist? Yeah.
I'd have to look that up. Uno. Somebody look that up for me.
Is this song called Uno? Not the band?
Yeah. No, not the band. Uno. Ghost praise. That's I
didn't mean to put you on the spot.
We'll find that later, okay, guys? I should give him a plug. So sorry.
So tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in St. Louis.
Oh no, not Foo Fighters. No, Brandon. Look again. Amba J. That's who it was. Yeah. So, but St. Louis. Well. It smells like sulfur. And I grew up in the city. I did a little video where I'm singing Stormy Weather and some pictures of my old neighborhood, and it looked like Baltimore. and it was across from the Bush Beer Factory, so it was kind of close to Soulard, and it was a rough area. And I had a date one time. Went there years later. I was going to go see my grandparents, and he said to me, "Is it safe to?" I said, "I want to get a soda," and he says, "Is it safe to get out here?" And I'm like, "We're here. We're at my family's home. You have a problem. You should leave now." But you'd hear the guns going off at night, and
Wow.
you'd wake up in the morning and there'd be all the needles in the gutters, from all the drugs that they were doing. And yeah, it was rough, but I never had a problem really, because if you're from the neighborhood, they just recognize you, and you're okay. So they
Is
say,
this St. Louis? We're talking about St. Louis?
yeah, we're talking about St. Louis.
No idea. I really had no idea that they had. It sounds like Harlem in the 80s.
They
You know what's
used St. Louis for Escape from New York, that movie, and that's St. Louis.
Oh,
and you know
wow.
what's funny about St. Louis? I'm a baseball fan, so I watch like the Mets play the Cardinals all the time, and they
Yeah.
show Cardinal Stadium and that arch, and they always make St. Louis look so beautiful.
Well, those
But
are nice.
yeah, but if you look every year when they release the list of the most dangerous cities,
Hmm.
St. Louis is either first or second. It's always battling with Detroit and Chicago for being one of the most dangerous cities, and you would never actually believe that. Now,
Absolutely.
I think in one, Joe, are you familiar with the vacation movies, the Cherry Chase vacation movies?
Yes.
Doesn't he get it like doesn't he park in St. Louis and he comes back and the station wagon is up on cinder blocks?
That's right.
It is St. Louis, right?
Yeah, and that's just totally could happen. There's like Lafayette Park. I remember when I lived there, you never stopped at stop signs or stoplights. You kept going because you could be carjacked if you stopped your car. And the police did the same thing. Nobody get busted for running a red light. You just keep going.
Wow. Oh.
But yeah, I mean, St. Louis is often number one for murder per capita, and they've kept their title for years. I always tease the people back home, "Are you keeping your title this year?" I think they're number 3 this year. They had a lot of competition.
They have to work harder, I'm telling you. They have to go out and
think
shank
so.
somebody and
Yeah.
rob Chevy Chase's tires. Exactly.
They were
Yeah.
also the heaviest city for a while, and I'm like, well, and you're also the most murders. So how does that work exactly?
You know what's a funny story about St. Louis? The great late actor Roddy McDowall, who seems very, very British and very, very proper, was an enormous fan of the city of St. Louis, and would go to over 40 St. Louis Cardinal games a year. And I just don't picture the late great Roddy McDowall as an enormous baseball fan, much less an enormous fan of the city of St. Louis. I picture him like hanging out in England with Donald Pleasance, but it's not the way it happened. So tell us a little bit about your favorite horror films growing up. You've talked a lot about horror films that you watched when you were young. Well, which ones did you have a passion for, like the Universal horror films with Karloff and Lugosi? Are we talking about the Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing Hammer films? What are we talking about? Are we talking about 70s or 80s horror films? Did you have like a wheelhouse that you were especially fond of?
Well, I like the old black and white where you would have suspense and you use your imagination. Um, like Hell House. I loved Vincent Price.
Oh,
I
yes.
just felt, oh, and he's from St. Louis.
Mhm.
Really? We
Yeah,
didn't know that.
it was just such a pure form. And then I liked anything that was cult,
Okay.
like Liquid Sky, Eraserhead,
Ooh.
Carnival of Souls.
Mhm.
Silent Hill, which is an actual real place that's continuing to burn.
Yes, I live right by it. It's called
Really?
yeah, it's right here in Pennsylvania. I can't remember I'm like, oh man. I don't
Carnival
know
of Souls is like a super underrated film, I
what the
think.
hell is it
I'm
called?
surprised it's not
Centralia.
more of a thing, because it's got such there's so much atmosphere in that movie and really great performances.
Were
And
you a
it's really scary. I mean, you can picture yourself getting
Yeah.
like that.
Okay, wait a minute. We can't mention Vincent Price without mentioning David Lee Madison's brother's interview with Vincent Price. And David, I believe you were there as well. No,
I
we had
was,
him
I
on the show.
was.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
We're the very last show to have Vincent Price on. Semi live. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, he was amazing.
Yes, my brother did a play with him called Diversions and Delights towards the end of his life, and they became very close friends. And then Vincent actually did a lot of cruise ships where he would perform like a mystery on the cruise ship. And yeah, wow, Vincent Price is Keith Hamer's ninth cousin. Sweet.
That's awesome. Are you from St. Louis, Keith?
So, did you like House on Haunted Hill?
Oh, I loved it. I
Yeah.
really loved it. Yeah.
So, I kind of have a vibe for you, like the William Castle kind of. Yep, those were some great films. Were you a
Isn't that the one where they had the guns in the coffin boxes and then they handed everybody a gun? That
That's
was
not
Hell House. I'm
that's
sorry.
not House on Haunted Hill. No.
Yeah.
The House on Haunted Hill is where everybody's invited to a house to find out who was going to inherit money, and they all get killed one by Vincent Price.
Oh, okay. He's been in so many of them, and then he did some Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes, the Raven,
a lot of
great
power,
movie,
yeah.
great movie. Oh,
Yeah.
Keith's from Pennsylvania. What did you think of 80s horror? Because I had a very great fondness for 80s vampire
80s?
movies, especially. Did you get to see Fright Night? No. That's the one with Chris Sarandon and Roddy McDowall. No.
Yeah, sorry.
What about Lost Boys? Did you see Lost Boys?
Yeah, I saw Lost Boys.
You don't sound like you like Lost Boys.
Well, I like some of the kind of horror comedy things. All right, so 80s, was it Ghostbusters?
Yes, 83. Yep. Ghostbusters
Yeah.
is a great horror comedy. I mean, I guess most people wouldn't really consider Ghostbusters a horror. I guess, would you consider it a horror movie? I guess you would.
Well, Dan Aykroyd was really into it. Apparently, that's their family business,
Mm-hmm.
is hunting ghosts. So
Have you seen the most recent, the Ghostbusters? Is it? I guess it would be 3 now. The one that just came out recently.
Oh, I think there's more than 3. Or maybe
No, I think there was.
Well, there's
yes, if
isn't
you-
there
the
a
female
like
version.
a reboot with
The
Paul
female
Rudd?
version, I don't think you would count as the timeline though. I mean, because that's a totally separate film from.
Wasn't the
one and
most
two.
recent? Wasn't that with Paul Rudd?
Yes, with Paul Rudd. My friend Bob Gutton actually played Harold Ramis's part. Is he Egon?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was it's really probably, if you haven't seen, if none of you guys seen it yet, have you seen it, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
It was
That was
fantastic,
a
wasn't it?
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
And it was a great tribute as well.
Yes, it's really one of the better sequels made in the last 10 or 15 years. So if you haven't seen it, everybody watching out there, make sure you check out the new. They're doing another one. Yeah, but it's funny. Because the last one came out right in the heart of COVID, I didn't think that they were going to have, the wherewithal to make another one, because it took a bath because they released it in the heart of COVID. It was critically loved and the fans loved it. But sadly, it came out in the heart of COVID and there's just, there was no box office for it.
Oh,
But if I guess they're, just because of how well received it was, they're probably making a new one. So other than acting, what other talents do you have in filmmaking?
Well, I worked as a costumer for some of the films. I've been in some of the independent films. I have a gigantic room I had built that's just clothing. I was a fashion designer, and my ready-to-wear women's clothing sold at Dillard's department stores, and and in the art field, and I've done some set decorating or let them use my paintings, so that kind of thing.
Did you dabble in some visual effects that I see on your IMDb, or am I having a brain hemorrhage here?
Well, it would be sets and
Set. Okay.
um, clothing design and costuming. And sometimes I've sang, sometimes I've been asked to swim, which is something I like to do, or dance by Larry.
3 a.m.
It's good to have cross discipline so that you can, when called upon, be able to give them what they need for that role. So I find that is good to have.
Now,
They
if
know something, learn it if they ask for it.
now, who has a cat? It wasn't me.
Oh, it was me.
I love cats. I'm a cat
Loud.
daddy.
That's one
What
of the
kinda-
reasons my mic is on mute right now,
There
because
you
my
go.
dog was barking.
Well, there's two of them. She's a Siamese, and the
Oh.
other one is a Russian blue. And
Oh,
the
sweet.
Siamese screams all night long.
Russian
boy.
blues are quite beautiful cats. They're kind of grayish with blue eyes, right?
Grayish. Ours has green eyes, and her fur is so soft. She's, a big cat too.
Oh,
And
sweet.
the other one is just skinny. And
The great actor Camden Toy is saying howdy to us. Camden, we
Hey,
hope you are
hey.
well.
oh my God.
Camden, great to see you.
I hope you're well, Camden. Hope to see you on the network again soon. We love you. We think you're awesome. Thank you for
My
watching.
favorite Buffy. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're probably sick of hearing it, right?
It was very creepy in Buffy. Very creepy.
Oh my God, that one came. I watched that one over and over again. I love that.
So if Laura,
Yes.
if a producer was to come to you and said, Laura, I'm going to give you the an ungodly budget, whatever number you come up with, to make a film, and you are going to write, direct, and star in it. Tell us what that film would be like.
Oh my goodness, I haven't had a chance to think about it. What would I?
Seriously, Laura, she's like, whatever expense. Okay, let's start it. Let's make it easy.
Okay,
Who would your co-star be? Who's your dream co-star?
my dream co-star. Well, Vincent is gone, and so
Yes.
is Karen Black, and I like Julian McMahon. He was in Charmed.
Yes, I know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he played Doctor Doom too, didn't he? In the Fantastic Four.
And he was
Yeah.
a Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
Nip Tuck, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of his work.
Now, would he play a romantic interest, or would he
Oh, of
just
course.
be? Okay, I had a feeling it was going there.
yeah.
That's what he's
I had a
there for.
I had a feeling it was going in that direction.
Very, very powerful presence.
Does he? Have you met him?
I've never met him, no, but I'm aware of him as well. And it's easy to have a man crush on him.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Who else? Oh, Camden, you.
Oh, look at that!
Camden's here.
Now, what genre would it be? Would it be a horror film? Would it be like a seductive horror film, or would it be a rom-com?
Horror.
Horror.
Yeah, horror. And maybe take it back to the tradition of black and white.
Wow.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Very atmospheric and very, like the Silent Hill Carnival of Souls kind of feeling to it. I wouldn't have such a definite idea as I would have an atmospheric feeling to it.
Mhm.
And let the viewer scare themselves. You don't need to show them everything. They can anticipate and get scared all on their own. So
that is
Nation
a
is very
wonderful.
important.
That is a wonderful, wonderful point, Laura. Because I think that a lot of contemporary films, the biggest mistakes they make, is they show everything. They think that they have to spoon feed the audience, when a lot of times the most effective thing you can do is do a wonderful setup and then let the people use their imagination to fill in the blanks. And some of the greatest horror films, I mean, if you ever go back and watch the Janet Leigh Psycho scene in the shower, it is so unbelievably subtle and simple. It's all music. The music is wonderful.
Yeah.
There's no gore. You see blood going down the drain with the water, but it's really one of the most effective and horrific scenes in cinema history. Back when it came out, people were literally running out of the theater screaming because it was so horrific. I mean, by today's standards, it's not. I understand that. But I am saying by just it being effective in horrifying people, it's really, really wonderfully done. For you saying that, I'm going to find somebody to give you the money to make this movie, because if you're going to make a movie,
just thinking,
but I'm sorry, you froze for a second.
Oh yeah, you froze too.
Okay.
I was thinking, I would like, talking about St. Louis, do something more what really happened with The Exorcist, because The Exorcist happened in St. Louis.
Are you talking about the story that it was like based on?
Yeah, because they have a girl, but it was actually a boy.
A young man, yeah, a boy.
Right. And I think
Wow, I
they
never
do
knew that.
have one sort of like it, but a remake of that, and then do it very atmospherically. But there was a lot more to that story, and I think you could tell what the locations were, because some of them are gone now.
That big stairway, that's one of my all-time favorites as far as horror.
Yeah.
I think that stairway's in Washington, D.C., though, for some reason. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure myself.
They started out, I think they were out east, and St. Louis got carved in his chest. Well, the book, it's from a book originally called When the Devil Came to St. Louis. Actually, the devil went to St. Louis and never left, but hence their high murder rate. But, and the sulfur smell. Oh, see, the cat's upset.
Wow, that is incredibly creepy, Laura. You're just bringing up The Exorcist, and your cat's going to spin his head around 360 degrees and barf pea soup at you.
Yeah, the cat's upset now.
If you need a priest, please text me. Say, just put, I need help, and we'll send somebody over right away. That was cool. You know, a film that I would love to make that would... in the same kind of stylings that you're talking about, in black and white, is I don't think that the Headless Horseman was ever done really well on the screen. And I could picture, the headless form in black and white with a giant pump, maybe just have the flames of the pumpkin be orange in the film or something. One, Schindler's List, there's the one little girl who walks by in the red jacket, and have just one scene where there's something that has some color in it to make it interesting. But that would be, I totally get what you're talking. Stairs are in Washington on Prospect Street. Ken is just a fountain. I mean, he has to get on I can't remember.
JW show.
JW too. On Alex Trebek's show. Jeopardy. Yeah.
Keith, you have all the answers. Or like the film where they just used a spotted color was Rumblefish.
I was just going to say that. It's another one of my favorites. At the very end, it goes to color. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always tried to figure out why that movie didn't get the same respect as The Outsiders. I never got it.
I thought.
I think it may have been a little too arty.
Yeah, it was an art.
It was pretty out there.
I saw. I haven't seen Rumblefish. Is it worth seeing?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Stuart Copeland did the music.
Is it an '80s flick?
80s.
It had to be early '80s. All those cats were super young.
It came out the same year as The Outsiders. Same exact year.
Outside. Okay, I guess that's like 83, 84.
Yeah, I mean,
Fantastic.
Rourke, that's only like his second or third or fourth movie tops.
Yeah, it was the same writer.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. Gabe
Yeah.
says he's a huge Devil's Carnival fan and the sequel as well. The wonderful
Oh,
Gabe has a great
cool.
show on this network.
Hey, Gabe.
Is a great guy.
Dancing
So,
2:00 in the morning. Yeah.
so Laura, before we let you go, is there any other projects that you have coming up that you want to tell us about, or the ones that
Well,
you?
like you said, there's different ones that are in post-production. There's pre-production. The two with Lionsgate, Salem
Mhm.
Chronicles, Devilreaux. That's Thomas Churchill.
Mhm.
And then Blood Before Bitcoin. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one because that's different for me. And I don't know what else is going to come out first or last. But I did a TV show during COVID and I haven't seen it yet. Uh, but hopefully something will happen with that too. So I'd like to see that one.
Oh, sweet. Is it going to be? Do we know what network or channel it's on yet, or are they shopping it around?
They're shopping it around.
Do you know the name of it?
Um, I don't know if I can say.
Oh, okay. So then, no, don't want to get you in trouble. So, Laura, where can our fans who are watching us tonight find you on social media so they could follow your work?
Well, you can find me on my personal page, Laura Meadows, and that's on Facebook. I have a fan page, Laura Meadows, and my personal page is usually pretty full, almost full. And then Instagram, LAURA_A_MEADOWS, Laura A. Meadows. I don't have a Twitter because I have nothing to say. And also you can find me on YouTube, and it's more of an archive. Things that I've taped or auditions I've had to post there, but it kind of gives you an idea of what I'm like and the kind of projects that I've done or auditions that I've done. So yeah, that's how you can find me.
We're gonna have to
Sweet.
look up that YouTube
And
channel.
don't stalk me either, and continually look at my IMDb page and increase my score. Okay,
And no stalking.
but no stalking. No.
Yeah, Gabe.
Leave that up to professionals like me.
But then
Laura,
just remember, I'm from St. Louis, so you may
Yeah,
not
I'd be afraid.
want
Be
to
very
stalk
afraid.
me.
yeah, I'm. Trust me, I'm afraid. I've been married for 30 years. I'm plenty afraid. With that being said, Laura, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're charming. You're a wonderful actress. I can't wait to see what you do in the future. And thank you for now being a part of the Indie Escape family. If you ever have anything that you want to come on and promote, please just give us a holler, and we'll gladly have you on again. And thank you again for coming on.
Aw, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, guys. So you got Lovers. St. Louis hasn't been there in 30 years. Oh, okay.
And Keith says, take care.
Take care. Yes, everybody take care. Happy Father's Day. And it's been a pleasure to hang out with you guys.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
ladies and gentlemen. Laura Meadows.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, what a
Wow,
lovely.
that was great.
Yeah, she was a sweetheart, and she's really smart. And you know what? I kind of put her on the spot with some questions there, but she came up with wonderful, wonderful answers. And I hope that she explores making films herself, because she seems to have a great idea of what makes a good horror film, especially.
Well, yeah, what you guys were describing. I mean, come on. You don't need a jump scare every 15 minutes. It's not necessary.
Yeah, no.
I think a lot of that you could thank MTV. The MTV generation started with all the cuts, quick cuts. Everything's a quick cut. Anybody who cites Carnival of Souls is aces in my book, because I think
Absolutely.
that's one of the most underrated from that era anyway.
You know what I think is actually the first movie that kind of ruined all horror movies? And this, I mean, a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me, but I think the first Scream is kind of the first movie that ruined horror movies. In that Scream literally had all the jump scares, all the brutality of the kills in the scene. It left nothing to the imagination. I mean, even the original, even some of the, Friday the 13th and the Halloweens, when they got to numbers, 6, 7, and 8, I understand the movies lacked a lot of,
You do realize that Kane has been on the show, and Kane will probably watch this, and he will follow up on that.
Yeah, Kane.
On Scream,
I'm not worried about you, dude.
Kane Hodder?
He was in
Hodder.
Scream. You know that.
No, he played Jason.
He played Jason.
Oh, right.
In
He's not
7
Scream.
through 10, I believe.
Yes. No. Kane, you owe me a cheesesteak, so I'm not really concerned about it. You really do, if you watch it.
Does he?
I want that. Yeah, he owes me a cheesesteak, the bastard. With that being said, we love you, Kane. You know that. He was actually on when we had that big, where we were going to do the crossover with the Fangoria show with Tiff, Felicia, and Kane.
Felissa, yes.
Felissa. And funny thing is our show's still going on and theirs isn't. So I guess that's why it never happened. I have no idea. It doesn't get hotter than Kane. I don't know what that means, but it sounds kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, Gabe. Kind of weird.
Does he mean, is it supposed to be like a play on words, like hotter?
I think so, yes. Gabe is a punny kind of dude.
Oh.
Ken is saying Scream 6 is being filmed somewhere near him. It's being filmed in Canada.
Is Ken in Canada?
Yeah.
You poor bastard.
Weird is the new norm. All right.
Okay. Well, this show is now just taking a horrible turn. I want to apologize. Oh, he's in Montreal. Montreal, that's a nice place. They had the Expos there, and they had the
Canada
Expos there.
wouldn't let me in the first time.
I know they literally closed Canada, Scott.
You out. Yeah.
A phone call I will never forget, because I was on stage and people were bidding to go out to dinner with me and Brian O'Halloran at a cancer charity event. And my phone goes off while I'm standing on stage, and it's Brian. Can I tell the story?
Sure.
You sure you're okay with it? He's like,
well, yeah. I mean, it's on my YouTube. There's a whole big video about it.
Well,
Yeah,
do you want to tell the story? I'll just tell my part, my end, and then you can pick up.
Go ahead.
And I'm like, Brian, I'm literally on stage in front of like 150 people. What's the matter? Because I thought because I knew the guys were driving up to Canada. And he goes, dude, you're not going to believe this. They're not letting Scott into Canada. Is there anything you can do? I was like, I don't know. I'm literally on stage trying to sell out bodies to people here. And Scott, if you want to pick up from here, because you were there.
Well, I mean, it was gut-wrenching for me because I didn't see it coming. I had gotten, I'm not much of a traveler. That's pretty well known, anybody who knows me at all. But over the last 10, 15 years with the conventions, I began traveling a lot. So I had my passport and I was all excited. And they found some T's that were not crossed and some I's that were not dotted literally over 30 years ago. And they didn't like what they saw. And that was it. I was not allowed in. But
you were on the next bus back to Jersey.
Oh, it was awful. Brian goes in to get interviewed, and he's in there for 5 minutes. And they walk out, and everybody's laughing. And, it's Brian. So I figured, this is going to be a cake. And I walk into the office, and they pull the shades down. My shades are going down. And I'm like, that can't be good. then a cat comes in with literally a stack of papers. And the first thing he says to me is, Mr. Schaffo, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, most of which I know the answers to. So it would behoove you to tell the truth. So like already they got me as some kind of master criminal. And it went all downhill from there. But luckily, you helped me fix all that. And I've been to Canada with Brian since. So
everything Canada now loves Scott Schiaffo. It's not Canada Dry anymore. It's Canada Wet. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds kind of funny.
Ken saying that he used to go to baseball games with Donald Sutherland.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I guess in Montreal was Sutherland a
They're
Expo
Canadians,
fan?
yeah. Well, I
Oh,
know
he
that
was?
the Sutherlands are Canadians originally.
I wonder if Kiefer Sutherland went with him. That would have been cool. Well, what the hell do I know? Oh, I want to talk a minute about next week's guest because she's already booked and confirmed, gentlemen. Next, he loved the Expos. Okay. Yeah, they were some pretty decent teams back when they had Gary Carter and Tim Raines and all those wonderful
Gary
guys.
Carter, I remember him from the Mets, not the Expos.
Where do you think they got him from, Bonehead?
I was 6.
No,
Fight
stop
me.
it. You were 43, don't lie. Next week, we're going to one of my favorite shows, as you know, is I'm not talking in the Waltons. I'm not in the middle of having like COVID madness where I was up all night watching the Waltons like I did for 3 years when COVID was a thing, and everybody would make fun of me for watching the Waltons. When I was a teenager in the 80s, there was this wonderful show on ABC called Sledgehammer.
I was 8.
And God, I love Sledgehammer. It lasted only 2 seasons because it was
Was
on
it that
against...
long? I thought it only made 1 season. Was it 2
No, it was
seasons?
2. It was 2.
Okay.
And it was on, sadly, the first year the geniuses at ABC played it up against Cosby. And the second season, the geniuses at ABC put it up against Miami Vice. So it's like they literally gave it no chance in the world to succeed. But it was literally, if you can get your hands on the DVDs, or I don't know if it's on Roku or somewhere where you could find it. I don't think it's on Roku.
It may be on YouTube.
Okay.
Pause it.
If you could find Sledgehammer,
Oh,
funniest,
it was great.
funniest show ever. Just hysterical.
In my opinion, when I was a kid, I used to watch Get Smart reruns. And to me, it was just kind of like the same comedic kind of not silliness.
Yeah, no, it was just that's a great analogy, Joe. It's a very, very akin to the original Get Smart. But
And
it was
we're talking about Sledgehammer because the actress from Sledgehammer is coming on, right?
next Sunday. We're going to have the lovely and talented Patty Tippo, who's been on. If you look on her IMDb, it's like literally legendary stuff. Worked with everybody. But why I'm super excited is because she played Officer Daly on Sledgehammer, one of my favorite characters on the show, just an absolutely adorably funny character on Sledgehammer. She's going to be joining us next Sunday night right here at 10 p.m. Eastern. Patty Tippo.
That's very cool.
If you're a Star Trek The Next Generation fan, you know her. If you're a fan of the film Barbed Wire, you know her. Why is he just going David Madison with a question mark? What is Gabe? What are you asking me? I don't know. Did he put up a link to see if that's Sledgehammer?
Yeah, I think so. That's what
I'm scared to click on it because I might click myself out of the show. But if it's a guy talking to his gun, yes, that's Sledgehammer. It's just the show is
large gun.
a 357 Magnum was just a beautiful gun that had. And I hate guns with a passion, but that show was so funny because it was just the guy with the gun was a buffoon, and it was a play on Dirty Harry. David Rash played a goofy kind of Dirty Harry on purpose, and it was just Scott. Did you ever see this show, or is this something?
This is why I'm being very quiet. That one got by me.
If there's any chance, I mean, I wish I can get you. I have all the seasons on DVD, but I don't think I'd be able to get it to you by Sunday. I would love for you to, if you can find a way to catch up on a few.
to the Plex server.
Well, I'm sure that if Gabe sent the link, I'll take a look at that. It's on YouTube, right?
I'm not sure if that's the link, but if it is, it's wonderfully fantastic. Dirty Harry meets Naked Gun. Ken, you are 100%. That's a great analogy. And Scott, you will sit there and laugh like a mental patient because it's very campy, but it's also very, very clever. There's a lot of jokes. The seasons are available on YouTube. Oh, perfect. Emmett from Haven for Heroes says he's surprised he's never seen it. You have to check it out, Emmett. It's fantastic. And the seasons are available on YouTube. So next week, the lovely and talented Patty Tippo will be joining us here on the end of the night and on the Indie Escape Network. and we'll talk about her amazing career. With that being said, Mr. Schaffo, is there anything that you want to say in closing tonight?
Again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers, and thank you all for the support. Always, I appreciate every one of you, and stay awesome and stay safe, everybody.
Absolutely. Joe, anything you want to share with anybody? Is there anything you want to just remind everybody of?
Yes, please. Everybody go to, wow, you like that? Go
Wow.
to our social medias. David Lee Madison, the end of the night on Facebook. Also, we have the Indie Escape on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You know how long it took me to remember what all these symbols freaking mean?
You know, it's funny that symbol on the end, I guess is Instagram, you said, the
Yes.
one on the far right on my screen. That is literally was the symbol, and maybe Scott remembers this, but that used to be the little drawing on the bottom of the Daily News. And,
Really?
Oh, you know what? I think you're, yeah. It was in black and white, obviously, but
right, but it's the same exact symbol, and I'm kind of wondering.
It's similar. It's definitely very similar. Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering how they got away with it. Daily News, if you're watching, sue the shit out of. Was that Instagram?
I remember my
Well, I think
grandmother
that's
getting Daily News
Zuckerberg
and
land, right?
Newsday.
Zuckerberg owns everything.
Don't piss off the Zuckerberg god.
Yeah, he owns Instagram and Facebook now, right? Meta?
Meta.
Metabook.
Yeah.
With that being said, everybody, again, thank you for joining us tonight. Oh, did you plug what you wanted to plug? Oh, you did already. Okay. Everybody, thank you again for joining us tonight. Thank you, the lovely and talented Laura Meadows, for joining us tonight. Seek her out. She's a wonderful actress and just a really sweet person. It was wonderful talking to her. Again, we will return next Sunday night with Patty Tippo. And Joe, do you the week after next is July 4th, so you will not be on the week after next, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right, so we'll be back next week with Patty Tippo. Then we're going to blow shit up and hopefully keep all our fingers, and then we'll be back the week after July 4th. With that being said, again, everybody out there, all dads out there, happy Father's Day. I hope the day was everything you hoped it would be. And remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Good night, everybody.